Welcome back to Wake the Farm Up, Maintaining Ground podcast. Episode number 1 of season 2, recorded October 3rd, 2022 at Lab Oct with a live audience. This was so much fun. A new adventure with the podcast. Maybe you want to attend a recording and get an uninterrupted 2 minutes on the mic followed by a conversation, or just enjoy the show. Starting this season, we are adding Khassa as a co-host with me, Ande the Elf. Also, the necromancer Stefin will be adding live sound effects and sound vibes for the show. Enjoy this adventure as we continue to strive to do better, bringing this experience to you this season of this unique and loved podcast. Get in touch at WaketheFarmUp@gmail.com. Tell us what you want. You know, we were in the top 60 comedy interview podcasts in New Zealand this summer. Amazing. What the farm? Again, come join us. Follow Wake the Farm Up on Instagram so you know when a recording will be happening. This episode, we welcome host Khassa, and we introduce Stefin. This is a song that Khassa had produced that's playing right now.
Wake the farm up. Here we go. What time is it?
Live at the show for everybody. Then we welcome up on the stage conversations. Wake the farm up! And the conversations begin.
I've never been bad. I wouldn't know how to be good.
You know, like, what's going on here? You know?
If I never been sad, I wouldn't know happiness felt so good.
Happy time.
If I never been bad, I wouldn't know how this feels so good.
We've been dining on some persimmon fruit. We all know what it was like when we didn't have persimmon fruit ever before. But somehow now we've all had some persimmon fruit, native fruit trees coming, dropping fruit down onto our lands here for eons.
To the road before you, my friend. Which road will you choose? Before it's too late, take time, meditate. Because the one love, burn out the heat. Before it's too late, take time, meditate. Master one love, burn out the heat. If I never been bad, I wouldn't know how this feels so good.
So wake the farm up here.
Feeling good and wake the farm up. Thanks, Andy.
I'm really glad you're here. So Khassa and I go way back. So a lot of this podcast has been maintaining ground. He and I go back a couple decades.
Can't believe it. I'm old as hell.
We're like 20 something now, right?
20 something. We finally made it.
We were like 5.
We started when we was like 6.
Foraging around in these jungles, Cincinnati.
Picking up leaves.
Little solar panels. Every leaf is a solar panel. You know, it's been incredible watching everybody figure out how to like hook lithium-ion batteries up to like little like metal and plastic shaped squares. And you got these trees that are just sucking it down, just right out of the air, little solar panels everywhere, and when they're done, they just turn into the nice compost that just feeds into the nice feeling of the soil. That's where we're going with this shit, okay? Can we get some like mushroom music going over here? We got Stefin. I want to introduce Stefin here tonight. He's like our sound man, and he does incredible things. He's like improvising tonight with constant sound, ups and downs.
Isn't that just the best? Thanks for that.
Alright, yeah, just to, break the ice, I want to explore. I know a lot of people get into podcasting kind of stuff and they have to explore conspiracy theories, so I'll just like throw out my flat earth thing here, So You know the world's made up of like 70 something. What was it? 85% water. You guys have been to beaches and lakes and stuff, right? Yeah, it's not carbonated. Like if you drank that water, it's not carbonated, right?
Okay.
What the farm? See, it's flat.
Okay.
It's fine.
Hold on. Say this again.
I'll shut the farm up. Shut the farm up.
Stop farming around, man.
Alright, well, that's what we gotta do. Because this is some serious shit, and we're gonna have some serious fun. Being the first time we're doing this, you guys probably don't know exactly what's happening. And me being an animal mostly, I don't know what's exactly happening all the time other than what I'm witnessing and watching in the moment right now.
Spontaneous combustion. Just gotta go with it.
So in this part of the podcast, we had not adjusted Khassa's microphone yet. So I've cut and edited it a little bit. But very soon here, we'll be able to hear what he's saying better. Right now we're talking about black walnuts. It reminds Stefin of you and coconut, huh? I give it that with a little bit of that anti-parasitic bitter tone that just like purges out things at this time of the year. And when you dry it, they get a little more palatable, but they're still holding those tones that'll knock out parasites and clean the system out real quick. That's some good meat. Now, what were we talking about? Yeah, we were talking about meats coming from nuts and other things other than meat. Yeah, buckeyes are edible and great. I've never done it, but I've never done the buckeye, but I know people that have eaten them. You gotta like steep the tannins out of it through different changes of water and whatnot over time. Peanut butter, chocolate, buckeyes. Those are highly edible. If you come across a bush grown those, let me know. We got propagation time. Nice. You know, the other thing I like about meat, it's an interesting thing that the local Shawnee people, when the pioneer people were showing up here with their fenced-in areas where they were raising animals and like waking up every day and feeding them and all that, they thought it was crazy. They could just go and eat the animals that were running wild out in the forest on their own accord. I really think that's something I've thought about, you know, as I've dabbled in eating meat coming out of being a mostly vegetarian forager since I was like 14. You butcher the vegetables. I know you do, and it's like, it turns into like something that looks totally different. Gut, skin. Yeah, here we really figure out that his microphone is not working very well, so we go and get it fixed. Yeah, I remember the years back when you and I were romping around these jungles for our first times, like foraging wild foods out of the woods, and we had lots of our friends that were raw food homies, and they were mostly just eating stuff from the store. And I often noticed they would be daydreaming about tropical places and faraway things. Meanwhile, I'd be like totally tripping out about the shape of the valleys that are like right here. Well, I hope that's giving you something good to think about. We got more coming, a whole lot more. So you guys having a good time here? It's pretty chill right now.
Yeah.
You guys that are all here got like a 2-minute bit you want to share at some point here, right? You ready for that? Like I said, like we're animals. At some point here, we're gonna be like calling one of you guys up here.
You know, we're going into autumn. We should talk about some survival tips, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of time that I hear people, they want to tell me about their diet. Here's my survival tip. Like, you can't have a diet that stays the same every day, 365 days a year around here. It doesn't make any sense. You got to keep changing it, adapting it. People want to eat bread when they're also like sneezing and mucusing up to the ragweed allergies. Maybe when that's happening, you just chill out on the bread, but you can still eat it. Maybe like in the winter on a Tuesday or something, right? But it's just like watermelon in the middle of the summer.
What's the Tuesday?
You don't even need to like think about it. You're just gonna eat that thing. But like watermelon on a frosty, cold January day where you're waking up and scraping the ice off of that shit, and you're trying to get somewhere and it's all snowed up. You're not thinking like, I really want a watermelon right now. Are you? I mean, you can if you want. That's the way the system's set up now. We go to the grocery store and we get so confused.
No watermelons in the wintertime.
There's no watermelons in the wintertime, but somehow you can go to the
You
store
get collard greens
and they're like butchered into like little triangle segments and like wrapped in foam and plastic.
Those are not real.
Not for animals like me. No.
Lab grown.
Lily pillies.
Alright. I want one of you guys to come up and have 2 minutes to share and explore something. And then after the 2 minutes, I'm going to be blowing the horn. And you're going to be in conversation with Khassa and I.
Dun, dun, dun.
Joe's on it.
Yeah.
Welcome, alright? This is Joe Hartman.
What's up, Joe? Yeah.
Thank you.
So Joe and I, we got our history here back in time, working on several farms together out in rural Indiana, and look forward to hearing what he's got to share here as ever.
Check.
Wake the farm up.
Thanks, Andy. Like Andy said, I'm Joe Hartman, or Joe the Butcher, as my friends call me back home as well. I grew up in conventional farming side of things, but soon found a love for the local foods and the diversity of animals we have in the local area. I thought about what I wanted to say tonight, but one of my favorite stories is the parable of the Chinese farmer. And one day the Chinese farmer was in his garden and his horse ran away. And his neighbors came and they told him that that was such a shame that horse ran away. And the Chinese farmer said, maybe. Then the next day the horse came back bringing 7 other horses. And the neighbors were thrilled and said that was such a wonderful thing. And the farmer said, maybe. The next day, his son took one of the horses out and broke his leg, and everybody was disappointed in it. The farmer yet said, maybe. The following day, the army came along and were recruiting everyone, and his son was able to get out of the army commitment because of his broken leg. And once again, everybody was thrilled for him, and he said, maybe. And what that tells me is the only certainty in life is uncertainty, but what draws me to local food and these experiences with Andy and everyone else is the community that we share and experiencing these things together. Though it's uncertain, we get to fight our way through life, learning and exploring all these exciting things that bond us together. So. And as I said, my expertise is on the animal side of the local foods. So
Awesome. You didn't even get to the horn yet.
That wasn't 2 minutes.
I could just tap it.
We cut him off at a minute and a half just for fun.
Well, how you guys doing?
Good. Great. Having fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Flipping sandwiches.
Burgers?
You
Look.
could be. If they were prancing through the forest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd flip
So
one
how
of
many?
those right
Do
up
you
on top
process
of
the meat
car.
on the farm that you have now on an acre of land?
Yes, I I'm one of the lucky few that I eat most of what I raise as far as that, and we try to do it in a very
Kosher. Is it kosher?
what's that?
Is it considered kosher? I mean, or grain? How is it raised?
Oh no, oh, I'm good.
I mean, I think it's kosher if you eat a cow, but not a cow at the same time as its milk.
Well, so you have, I believe it was, is it halal, which is what's that? Halal.
We got some excitement out
And then
here.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'll let you answer it. But I was just saying, listening on the couple. You just said, look, the culture thing. I'm sorry, culture.
So
is more
kosher?
of a prayer over the meat and food and all the stuff from was it the Jewish culture?
Yeah.
And they pray over it. That's so basically it can be kosher if a Jewish person, a rabbi, prays over the food or prays over the animals. But yeah, it's kosher. But nobody praying over it. Just the animals that they raised good and fed, right?
Oh yeah. What I would say is just like halal.
Well, how do you
Hello?
make sure an animal's fed right?
So, because I don't associate necessarily with the Muslim traditions or the Jewish traditions, I find it kind of lacking for me to, to have that tradition. I wasn't raised with the tradition, but the more I interact with my animals and appreciate what what they're giving me, I find myself drawn towards, there's traditions with the Indians to say a prayer of thanksgiving over the animal, and same as the other cultures, the Jewish, the Muslim traditions, and I can't say that I've directly embraced any one tradition, almost more creating my own and my own appreciation for it. I would say that emotion is equal. I can't even say that I've come to a point to really understand it. It's still emotion, not a term. So
when you say Indians, are you referring to people from India and some like Hindu chant that you can relate to from there, that when they process meat in some way?
well, I guess I'd have to go the Native American route versus they were more of a hunting culture. Now the Hindus, I believe, there's the sacred cows, so they're less likely in that end of things. So that's a little less, yeah.
Lamb, chickens.
Yeah. But no, through my raising of the animals, it definitely, as Andy was saying, to get to that point of actually processing an animal that you've raised or hunted, there definitely is an emotional aspect of it. I struggle with when you raise them, you have such an appreciation for them that that is the hardest part. That is the hardest part, is taking the life to feed, but I think that's where the appreciation grows as that experience with them early on.
I do recall one of my early, after not eating meat for decades, I had a duck, and I didn't know how to kill the duck, but it was my duck, and I was going to make it into a soup for my birthday. So I remember I took it over to Joe here, and asked him to walk me through the whole process, and yeah, it's quite frightening to see that blood come out and that life just go away.
Definitely is.
See it journey on, but then to make a tea out of it, basically, where you drop the whole duck after you pull its feathers off and save that to use for something else, then you boil that whole duck, it makes a tea, a duck tea. It's got oils, it's got all the plants that it's been eating in the land where I am. It's an amazing concentration of it, very different than anything that you would get from a market or something like that even.
Oh yeah.
You're just watching all these nutrients on the land just turn into duck, and then it's amazing what that mineralization can do.
I would imagine it's a lot like the, they say that the depleted soils have caused the spinach to be less nutritious as far as the iron content. And that's the same with the animals as well. The better the land that they're raised on, the more concentrated those nutrients are. In that,
As well as
that
their biotoxins
Oh,
and
yeah.
things of that
Yeah.
nature. But all of that, I feel, is all part of the karma of our times. Like, the experience that we have to live in. We have these certain things in our air and in our food everywhere. Somebody showed me some report that we all have some kind of titanium in our blood now that people didn't used to have before the 40s at all.
A little Terminator action.
So yeah, it's just a symptom of our times as the forests change and like everything just keeps changing and growing into new things. We have forests that are comprised of species from all over the world now, evolving into new forms, and they all have their gifts and treasures and our experience with them.
It's definitely an ecosystem.
Got the whole ecosystem, Pat.
Morphing and changing as it goes.
Wake the farm up! So we're like,
That was good. Thanks.
yeah. So like what are some of the bizarre things that you've done in preparing meats, or what kinds of, I say bizarre, like just tell us a variety of some of the animals that you've processed before, maybe if it was just once to try it, or things that you might do besides with the meat, with the animals, with the bones, with the skins, the hides. Do you know people that know how to tan them and turn them into usable materials?
I would like to know more people who know how to use those. We do a lot of composting of it to return it back to the soil, but unfortunately there's always room for more skills and to come into the industry. As far as the wild, I've had the rabbits and consumed turtle, and some of the more turtle, yeah.
What kind of turtle?
Snapping turtle is the usual.
Really?
Oh yeah. A lot of times they'll prepare it similar to fried chicken. Oh yeah, fried up, and that's where
Fried snapper.
But the one I have a list of a few that I would be interested in as far as that goes. They always talk about rattlesnake.
Yeah, I've had rattlesnake before.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, when I was out in Cali, like I was running into rattlesnakes all the time. You
Yeah.
had to carry a shovel when you walked around
Ooh.
the land, and they would pop out, and you would have to pop their heads off, like, because they'd be coming at you really quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's how they were when I was.
I won't.
Pop like 8 of their heads off. So I had to eat one after so long of popping their heads off.
Yeah. How'd you prepare that?
Just on a fire. I peeled the
Oh,
skin
gotcha.
down and then
Yeah.
put it on a stick.
I've not had the pleasure of trying the rattlesnakes yet. Gator, I knew a fellow who was a game. I wouldn't say a conservation. I don't think he was officially a conservation officer, but they would relocate alligators down in Texas, and they had one that they had trapped to relocate, and unfortunately it didn't make it through the process. So he actually
New boots!
boots and purses.
Boots and purse. From alligator booty.
And so for his, he was having his bachelor
I want
party.
to get some slices of that.
Oh.
If I can hook up with some gator
I tell you.
slices.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to make some gator jerky.
No.
I eat the reptiles.
Well, it was the most unusual one I've had so far. It was the original surf and turf. It had a pork taste with a fish flavor. So yeah.
Pork and fish.
It was unique, but good. Oh, yeah.
So how would you recommend making it?
Oh, I'm trying to remember how we had that.
Gator.
didn't partake in the cooking of it. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Do you keep like a grill outside your house?
We've
You fire up often? Like,
we've gone. My wife has a smoker, and so it's pretty regular that we fire that up and have a brisket or short ribs or something cooking.
there you go.
Wow.
Token.
That's right. We're working on those the different smokes.
Yeah, what kind of smokes have you got? I know a lot of people like those apple trees chipped, and that makes it smoke.
Mostly the hardwoods, currently, but it's
Hickory.
yeah, hickory.
Hickory.
Actually, down in Kentucky, the fellow I work for uses sassafras. He says he likes sassafras for his.
Sassafras albinium. You like sass? I like sass. Everybody loves sass.
Oh, yeah.
Some gumbo filet. You like that gumbo? That's where you make that, you dry the leaves and you grind it into a powder.
Nice.
Yeah, they sell it at regular grocery stores. They just call it gumbo filet. They don't tell you, hey, this is sassafras.
Yeah.
Because then you would be like, oh, I could make that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah.
Good sass.
So he's smoked with it quite a bit, but I don't know. I'm still working on my palate for all the different smokes. Looking forward to getting more into it.
Yeah. Here's a funny question. You know,
Yeah.
I want to give you a few more minutes for sure here.
Absolutely.
But one of the farms we worked on, I'm going to leave unnamed on here, just because it definitely was a situation that kind of fell apart, but it was held together by a very wealthy guy, and he still owns it and stuff. So, but he had us come out, and we were growing food for a restaurant, basically. And you were living on site, and at some point, you had noticed like some crazy shit going on, and then like next thing you know, it turned into like we had left at this point, but then some of the staff had like OD'd, and the chef was like all up in the newspaper.
That was a wild time.
That was wild. It's crazy that could have happened there, but it made sense the whole time I was there, which was about 3 years. The chef didn't come out to the garden.
Oh yeah.
That lack of connection.
Oh,
People
yeah.
aren't coming out to the garden and like actually feeling and seeing where it is, and then they're getting confused on how they're going to be chefing a seasonal like recipe for a restaurant. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. How can you cook it if you don't sleep in the garden once in a while, right?
Yeah, like walk in it and see how it
Oh
changes.
yeah. Absolutely.
See what's coming in, the weeks ahead just by watching it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wake the farm up. Botanicals. All right, Joe. Thanks for coming and chatting with us a bit. Do you have like anything else that you want to share with us before we go, or Khassa, you got
I
any?
got one more question.
Yes.
Do you know anything about like wild meats? Like what's the best wild
Yeah.
meat?
Oh,
Like
really?
buffalo, bison, and that's accessible.
You can talk about that. Okay. Wake the farm up.
Oh, wild meats.
Like indigenous, like what would native indigenous meats be?
Your squirrel, rabbit. You might have your. You go into your fish can be a little more native. The biggest thing nowadays with a lot of the deer is, they're almost corn and soybean raised because of all the farms around. But if you find the right places, you can get some good deer. I don't know. I'm trying to think what my favorite. I'm so used to deer. The buffalo is good. This world has gotten so commercialized that it's hard to really find anything anymore. We almost have to join together to form the pristine preserves again. So.
Yeah, at one time the original people here would maintain fires that would burn to keep the population of the buffalo high, keep their range high, because it was a high-yielding meat, a high-yielding food source that ran the plains and would concentrate all those solar panels of grass into buffalo, bison.
Wow.
You ever round up a buffalo? Like, can you imagine doing that? Like, try to rope one? Like, you ever do any roping on cows? Like, do you have to do that? Like, do you have to go out and herd them up and stuff?
Hopefully not, but there has been times where I've interacted pretty close with some more on the wild side of things. There was one place I was at, we actually had a herd bull buffalo, and so was his, I want to say it stood about 8 foot tall at the hump, so I don't think I'd ever want to have been in the same paddock with him when he was around. He had hooves the size of dinner plates, so he was a big boy.
Well, that sounds like some sustainableness to be able to like hook bulls up, to be able to do some bull stuff and make some bullshit for you. Do you have to shovel bullshit?
Oh, come here and there.
Or do you have them out where it just goes right into the pastures? Both?
Personally, I do. A lot of times when you're at the actual shop, you're engaged in a lot of bullshit.
Nice. It's incredible. Wake the farm up, Joe Hartman.
Wake the
Thank you,
farm
fellas.
up. Thank you, Joe.
Appreciate you being here. Thanks for sharing. Maybe we get some underground, like butcher shops going in the urban areas where people can process wild game under the radar without having a monetary system in it. That's what it's all about right now. Is like this whole thing's taking a jab at civilization and society and how it's become, but it's so nourishing to humanity. You know?
I feel you.
You want to hear about some fruits. So,
Not really. I want to hear about some sunlight.
so we got some on the table over here if anybody needs to. We got a basket full of wild American persimmons. They're tasty, and there's another basket you can spit the seeds out so you don't have to like worry about like jamming like wet soggy seeds into your pocket or something. But then you can take those and plant them out there somewhere, like after they're dry or something later. But to wrap it up with a little bit of paper towel, and it'll be a nice little seed package that you can transport somewhere after you make sure it's a good one. When you plant a seed, you want to make sure it's a fruit you like. If it's too green, too ripe, the American persimmon, you're not even going to be able to swallow it. It's just going to be so astringent. Like, I can't drink any water anymore. It's like, what's going on? All right, who wants to come up? Who's ready to share? We got Liz, Virgo. I've been so excited to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me here. I brought persimmons too.
We can try from 3 different trees.
4. I brought them from 2 different trees, maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Where did those come from?
Over by Mount Storm, I think it is.
I got it. Okay, mine are not storm too.
Okay.
Those little ones.
Yep.
There were so many on that
So
tree.
many.
Oh my god! I thought I was the only one. I was like,
It's one
rotten
of the
ones?
village trees for sure. It's
Awesome. And then my other ones come from Spring Grove Cemetery because I live in Spring Grove Village.
beautiful.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So you got 2 minutes here, and I look forward to what you have to share about.
Yeah, okay. 2 minutes on anything, huh? So I also had some foraged meat recently. I had some venison that had been hit by a car. I had almost my first fully foraged meal. My friend is doing a project where he's only eaten food that he foraged for an entire month.
Nice.
And I asked him to bring me a meal, and then I immediately put oil in the pan. So he's like, no, it's not. It's no longer even 99% foraged. But it was good. Only problem is, he's even foraging his salt, and he didn't have any salt yet. So that was
Ready for his salt.
well, he forages salt in the
Like
ocean.
drink the deer blood or something. Like
Yeah.
it's got high salt and or some crazy thing.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe that.
eat some ice plant along the ocean. It's really high in salt, or just lick the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he does forage salt from the ocean, but he wasn't at the coast yet. So he was excited to be here because he hadn't had pawpaw. He hasn't had sugar in like 12 days. So pawpaws and persimmons were awesome.
I'm going back in the mode. I'm not supposed to interrupt yet. You got time here. You get extra
Well, I should talk about
bonus
myself
time.
anyways. But yeah, so right now I'm kind of in a process of rewilding myself, I guess you want to say, figuring out who I am exactly.
Wow, dang.
Right, figure out what makes me happy, and a lot of that goes back to what made us happy as kids. I remember foraging wild onions.
What's that?
Well, I lived in the city too. I'm like foraging wild onions behind my house, and my mom's like, we have a grocery store, but she cooked them anyways because I got so many, and now I'm doing the same thing, just out in the middle of the city, like, I'm right next to the street, but there's pear trees. What are you all doing going to the grocery store? This is amazing. So yeah, I got some pears today and some persimmons, and I decided this week to just not go to the grocery store for a week. And
Nice.
it's small, but it's a project for myself, and I'm always trying to kind of decolonize myself.
Outdoor
and,
supermarket.
yeah, for sure. So when I was a kid, I went to summer camps, and I figured it out recently. I've spent like definitely over 100 days of my life.
So how much money you can save so far?
How much money? I mean, who knows? I mean, I've gathered dozens of persimmons. They don't even sell persimmons. You can't even sell that because they're too smushy. It's like, they're magic. They're priceless. And just all kinds of food I figured out. I'm like, my whole yard is just green.
Your salad, you ain't share the salad you made.
Well, you just want to come and eat my grass because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, sweet grass. Oh, okay, you can eat this. Oh, the violets. Oh, the ivy. The ground ivy is a good flavor. So I've just been excited about, saving money. Saving money is good, but really for me, it's more, I'm black and indigenous and European too, but I don't really connect as much to that. So for me, since I can't connect, probably, upbringing. For me, my father is European. I haven't spoken to my father in 8 years. There's reasons for that. I was raised in an area that was 94% white. I'm from Maryland, and being always the outsider, never being able to get into the community was very impactful for me, and never being told why, because it was the 90s, and they weren't as excited about telling me that they're racist as they are now, or as they were before then. It was just this magic period of colorblindness. But why can't I have friendships in this community? So for me, I'm very, still very involved with lots of white people and all that, and I'm culturally have been raised around that. But for my ancestry and for what I want to connect to in an ancestral, that's not necessarily the side that I'm pumped about. So for me, connecting to the indigenous side, which I'm never going to be able to fully get to because of the way colonization works and the way that it is effective at disconnecting people from their ancestry.
Disenfranchisement.
Exactly. So for that, it's like for me, even though I'm never going to be able to connect to my own family in that way, connecting to native foods, being able to go out and not depend on these grocery stores that people...
Wake up your DNA first.
It's like, okay, you got my people and other people who look like me out in the fields working for what we know is unfair wages. People are being treated in inhumane ways. And then I'm supposed to pay my money for that. I would much rather go out and get the food the way that my ancestors did. So that's kind of where I am in my journey. I feel like I'm rewilding, decolonizing, and
Incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Exciting to have people to talk about it with who are excited about foraging. Some people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know recently I've been seeing you sharing a lot about foraging and being super excited about it. And I got excited for you, for sure. I love nothing more than seeing people light up to discovering that feeling of freedom, of the eons of experience of humans getting to be animals on this planet and finding our food like other animals do.
Primordial instinct.
It's all there.
Right? It's funny too, because, it just happened to meet Khassa in a completely different setting the other day. and go and do a yoga class. And I already knew I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to his brother afterwards. I can already tell the vibe. And sure enough, they were both into the natural foods and all that kind of stuff too. But for me, it's just like you said, it's about like being human. The same thing with yoga and this. It's just like I want to experience being a human. I don't want to sit in front of the TV. I don't want to, destroy my body eating these terrible foods. I want to eat real food. I want to move in ways that are healthy. And
move in a three-dimensional world and experience it and find out what flavors taste like yourself, not just like reading about it in a book. Like experiencing the real thing, not just like seeing it on a video. Experiencing the real thing, it's amazing. But some things on the internet are cool, like this podcast.
yes.
Wake the farm up.
Wake the farm up.
What farm you talking about?
Your inner farm. And really, like, I like the word farm, but, it goes into, like, pharmagene and, like, moving beyond, like, what our modern concepts of farms are, where we harvest something and turn it into monetary gain, and stare it, like, harvest it all and store it in some hierarchically protected grain silo of some sort, and let it go back into a more, like, a system where we can hunter, gather, experience, and be able to reach out and find the food and know what it is, and our children will know what it is, and beyond that, great experience I've seen with my kids was the sassafras story. We've always eaten sassafras leaves, and one day I'm traveling and stay in a hotel room, and they get to have the free breakfast in the morning, so of course they grab a little box of Fruit Loops and they're eating it, and they look at me and they say, hey, this tastes like sassafras. And I was like, wow, the whole time I've been saying that sassafras tastes like Fruit Loops. So I think we're going somewhere here.
I love it. Definitely moving in the right direction. Yeah, I love watching my kids, seeing where food comes from in so many different contexts. Of course, they see the grocery store and the farmer's market and all that, but also we're going to a tree because this is the season.
Right.
And I'm so excited and being able to connect to the circadian rhythm. I'm a person who deals with insomnia a lot, so anything I can do to get into the natural rhythms of the earth and eating in season is a big deal for me.
Do you feel that, having been eating in season a bit more and more over time, that you feel a different sort of connection to those natural rhythms and changes in the climate?
I think so. I wish it was a bit more pronounced for me right now, but it's still definitely a process. For me, it's more, I'm still kind of in the earlier phases. So right now I'm learning what plants are coming up in the wild.
So what you gonna eat?
Times.
What you gonna eat this season that you didn't eat that you ate last season?
That I didn't eat last season, or that?
What did you eat last season that you're not gonna eat going this season?
Well, one of the big things was I said I'm not gonna buy greens from the grocery store this fall because I figured out that they're everywhere in the fall time. In the winter I'll go right ahead. But it's they're in my yard, they're by the side of the forest, they're everywhere. And my yard is not, the bugs honestly ate all the kale and all the cruciferous vegetables that I was growing. They figured out that was there last month. So those are gone. But I can still eat my grass. I can still eat the violet leaves. I can still go to the forest and get clear weed.
Yeah. Have you had sochan? It's a native green that grows along the streams.
I don't think so.
They grow a tall flower and they seed in the summer, and you don't eat the greens in the summer, but when they come up in the spring, that's when they're most abundant. But in the fall, at this time of the year, you can go through those areas and you'll see some plants thinking that it's spring again, so they'll be pumping some of the greens up. Their flavors are very unique and absolutely tasty in a realm of lovage or celery kind of way. Mm-hmm. You know about lovage, right? Yeah, it's tubular stuff.
Yeah, I still have a lot to learn about all that too. Right now, I've done a lot of learning about what's just in my front yard, and a little bit of plant walks around forest edges as well. I went to the Wild Harvest Festival which was put on by Sam Thayer in Wisconsin recently.
Incredible. Yeah, I know Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. And have you ever heard him rap?
I've not heard him rap.
That's an experience. Yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty amazing. But
I would love to hear that for sure.
yeah, but some of the stuff some of the foraging that I've been learning in different states. Like I learned some in North Carolina and some in Wisconsin. So for me, it's all like so big. I'm excited to get connected to the local community and figure out like which plants are here. Like I was all, the sumac in Wisconsin. I'm like, this is so cool, but like this isn't in Ohio. I go back to I'm like, this is everywhere. How have I missed this all along?
Yeah, all of a sudden you see a new plant and it's just like your new friend that you see everywhere walking somewhere. Like, oh hey, there they are.
Like how did I not know about goldenrod? Is I'm like I remember going to a store and looking for goldenrod and they were all out and I was all excited I needed it for something whatever and now I'm like no wonder they were out. They're like we don't need to stock this. It's right now.
So recently I brought a big basket of pawpaws to my son's soccer game, and there was people in their 40s who had grown up in the Ohio River Valley, had never heard of pawpaws, much less not have tried them, but they had never heard of them, right? So for me that was like such a blessing.
Oh, how was the pawpaw pudding? What was it that you made?
Pawpaw bread pudding. It was so good.
Pawpaw.
Yes, but I don't do gluten, so it had all the replacements. No gluten, no sugar, but
That's what's up.
but it was delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, and I love smushing. I'm gonna have to talk to you about how to process these persimmons, though, because I have so many. Pawpaws were easy and squishy, but I need to figure out what to do with these persimmons.
Well, I have this like cone that has holes in it and a little
I've got one of
wooden
those.
thing. I put them in there. The thing with those, is to always watch and make sure there's no underripe ones because they'll contaminate a whole batch, right?
A whole batch? Dang, okay.
A lot of times for preservation with the wild persimmons, I dehydrate them, make them into like little fruit jerky,
Okay.
and when you break them open, the seeds just kind of like fall right out. It's like a lot easier than when you eat them fresh, really.
Like dates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like dates, totally.
Oh, yeah, I'm going over to somebody's house tomorrow to get a bunch of jujubes. I'm excited. I was prescribed that for insomnia, too, and I just ran out, so. Yeah, living the plant life.
So you're planting jujubes?
I'm just gonna go get her excess and make them into teas and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll plant them too. Oh God, there's the other level. I said, it's an amazing thing because I started with my permaculture garden. So at first it was like, I'm just gonna grow some vegetables and all this, and then started to learn a little bit more about herbs. Oh, okay, I'm gonna grow these herbs. Oh, they're medicine. And it's just a can of worms. So
It's beautiful with that canopy of a cherry tree kind of in the area there.
Yeah, you planted some things in our garden. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done some gardening with you guys. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I wanted to come on next because I gotta get home and take care of these babies.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Wake the farm up. Are you guys having a good time? Is this fun? Is this fun or what? Having a good time. It's good, yeah. Nothing's going down, bitches. Who's up? Who's up?
F1, he stood up. F1.
Francis up. Big one.
What a trick dog.
Uninterrupted 2 minutes, maybe with some vocal sound effects from us occasionally, but we'll try to like rate people. Waking it up.
Don't worry, man. We get you.
Yes, we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens.
What up, everybody? I'm M1 from Major Entertainment, Cincinnati, Ohio native. Here, I'm what my company do. We do we do audio and video design and entertainment production. So that's what we do. We do like film. We do event planning. We do from DJing to building
concert stage, sound
Which type of
engineering.
artists y'all work with?
We work with all artists. There's no artist we don't work with. For the most part, you know, if it's from music, if it's from art gallery, if it's from a gymnast to somebody doing trapeze art, we work with all type of talented artists. So there's no discrimination in that because it's entertainment in all and everything. So yeah, that's what we do. Been since 2001. But big and out there for like the last 7 years. So I appreciate being here, with y'all. Started off being a DJ. I still got time. Okay. Dang, I tried to cut that short. That felt like 2 minutes. Been a DJ 30 plus years. Let's see, that was my first love was the turntables. Amongst many instruments. I'm a drummer right now. I'm back being a drummer, which is nice.
How did you get into music professionally?
I think it started off with one of my teachers, because I'll say her name is Miss Minifield, and I met her in junior high school, and the reason why I said it, I want to give a shout out to her. She's not here anymore, but I want to give a shout out to her because she's the one who saved my life. So music saved my life. So it was her that saved my life, and she put me in a position to be motivated to try so many different sounds and instruments, and and she just like opened up the doors. To the point I started, she had me play in an orchestra, in a concert, downtown. I was at that time, I think I was like 14 years old or something like that. Like she put all this energy into this little boy that was up there acting crazy, but she got me straight. And she did a good job, man. I love her to death, man. She the one. And then I think then for us like the music for us DJing, I started DJing at like 7 going on 8, but professionally I guess I would say I started DJing my first nightclub at 15.
7 or 8, what were you playing at 8?
7, 8 I was playing like Devin the Dude, A Plus, MPMD, so many
Hip hop.
Hip hop. I even played some Prince. I was over playing some Prince. I done played some Kiss. I done spent all that because I like all the different sounds. So it really was just all types of genre. Anita Baker. I was up with some Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass. Al Green. All that stuff that my mother grew she instilled in me because she played this stuff every day.
Speaking of family, man, can you tell me and tell us all a little bit about your homeschooling and getting the kids together with music and nature?
Definitely. I homeschool. Me and my wife, we homeschool our kids. We have 4 beautiful children. We got 3 girls, 1 boy. 17, 15, 12, and 8. And we we up for we want to we're gonna set some time where we better come to your farm.
Yeah.
And kind of check it out. We're gonna use that as a field trip.
I might send a note out to a few of my other homeschool families and see if we can have a few homeschool families and have a homeschool day on, walking through the forest gardens there and plant walking.
Yeah, and then we sometimes we haven't got deep into the foraging and anything yet. We do nature trips and stuff like that too. Like I said, I know some things. I don't know a lot. I don't know, but I know enough. I'm interested in knowing more.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we were talking earlier, when you realize and learn a plant, it's like learning a new language.
Yeah.
And sometimes for me, knowing so many of the plants around me, I wonder what it's like not knowing, and it comes to imagine like going to a country where I don't know the language at all, and I'm seeing signs everywhere, and they don't say anything to me. They just like some cool squiggles or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is for me. You know, I was like, I'll be shocked when I see like it's a plant that like if you had like a burn or a rash, like I already know about aloe, but something that's in your front yard, it's like this. One plant that got the little seeds, look like like 3 little long seeds of towers in the middle that sprout in the middle. I forget the name of it though, but I told somebody about it. But
purslane or something like that.
It might be. I know you crush it up, the bowl things like that, to like almost like a fine paste, and then you put it on, and then you put like a bandage over it, and like within 24 hours, the rash is about almost like half cleared up. You know, it only takes like 2 days maybe, and it'd be like almost completely cleared up. Like you get like poison ivy on it, or like I said, a light burn or something like that. Like that was really dope.
Jewelweed, maybe.
That's
what it's fun to know, like even common names of plants, and like I get really nerdy about this stuff, you know already.
Yeah, exactly.
Learning
like,
the taxonomical names, like when you're traveling from different village to different town, the different local names for plants will be different. It's fascinating, and even when you go somewhere where they have a different language, you can look in a book and be able to read in that other language and see the taxonomical name, and then just right from there you learn like the local language name for a plant. Definitely it opens up communication, and when you start to know all the plants, then you can really start to explore those connections that are happening in between them. I love that when I can get into a conversation with a bunch of really nerdy botanists, you know, you can imagine.
And then what I like about y'all conversations is because like these last few years I've been transitioning. I already don't eat like a lot of meat. Only thing I really eat now, like that's any animal will probably be fish, but I really don't even eat much of that now. Kind of more like I eat like rice. I eat like plant based, like I eat all plant chili, and which is really good. Plant burgers. I mean, I'm like that's just like the thing, that's the type of thing. Cause my wife's
like
trying to
mushrooms.
Yeah.
Cut
Like,
them up.
yeah. Oh yeah. I got all the shrooms. Man. I like them all, man. Pretty much the portobellos. I like all the. And I don't know, but I like the outside ones too. But I ain't gonna say which ones those are.
Yeah,
I like those too.
I didn't know you're a fun guy.
Yeah, I really like those, so I like those. But yeah, I just like, and I think, I'll be honest, I feel like a little bit, I say every year I feel like a little healthy, and then too, it's just like the environment changed so much. Like, I've never really been allergic to a lot of stuff, but then the last, 10 years it progressively got worse. Like, I'm starting to, I got seasonal allergies. I ain't never had seasonal allergies when I was younger. But when I got older, now I got seasonal allergies. Like, this stuff is crazy, cause it get worse, every other year. And I understand that Cincinnati's in a bowl,
I guess like a computer area, you gotta upgrade your system.
Yeah, exactly. Even when I've been looking for like honey from this area, kind of honey in this area, they get the pollen from this area. You can go, that helps you with some of the allergens that's around here, stuff like that. And then I know that foraging again like that is a good thing to do too, because you're getting what you're allergic to, but you're getting it at I guess the source, or what I mean. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, our allergens will kick out histamines.
Right.
So people want to take an antihistamine,
Yeah.
but what herbs you would want to work with that can help with that are herbs that are blood cleaning herbs, because they'll help clean the histamines out of your blood system faster. Some of them that work with you as diuretics, so you can help move them out faster and cleaner and upgrade your system. Buy some major one version
Then
2.
after you upgrade your system, then you may need to beef up. You gotta go see Joe.
Yeah. get some deer leg or something, you know, like at the Renaissance Festival.
Oh yeah, I think some things should be huge, but at least like a whole elbow. Like those,
Yeah,
those
it's on my
things
list.
should be-
It's on my list.
I used to wonder where the things came from, man. Like, I ain't really want to eat those because it was too big for me. They were chicken. What's that shit?
No, those were turkey legs.
Oh,
Like at
turkey.
the Renaissance Festival.
Don't
They were big.
Them turkeys
They were crazy.
on some steroids or something, man. Like, they really had the vegan life for real, man. I don't know.
So one foraging vegan type recipe that I've made before is taking the cattail pods when they break up and they're fresh still. You can tell. Just keep looking at them until you can tell. And you just squeeze them with your hand and they just kind of break up into this fiber. And then you mix that up with like a barbecue sauce kind of thing. And then when you eat it, people say it tastes just like pulled pork.
Really?
Like a pulled pork barbecue kind of thing.
Okay.
What planet?
I'm the kind of person, I haven't had pulled pork since for freaking ever. I always compare
Cattails.
things to like milk duds and shit.
Andy's the same guy that'll tell you in the middle of the woods that everything that you're picking up tastes like chocolate. Huh? Tell the truth, Andy.
This whole world tastes like chocolate.
Here we go.
Either it's like a bitter kind of chocolate, or
The truth
a
comes
sweet
out.
chocolate, maybe even a milky chocolate. I don't know.
I got a question, man. What is that one plant, man, where like, I see them everywhere, right? It's them green balls with the little bumps all the way around them.
Sweet gum.
Okay.
That's what I think. Like they're like the size of like a ping pong.
Nah,
maybe
they're
a
the
little
size,
smaller.
they're the size of like a softball.
Oh, and they're spiky.
Nah, they get the green little
The
bumps
green
all
grain
way
looking
around.
things.
Yeah, all around them is like the green
Yeah,
thing.
that's
I think
the
it comes with
Osage
stink
orange.
fruit or something.
It's the Osage orange.
Okay, orange.
Did you say stink fruit?
Nah, that ain't a stink fruit. Nah.
They almost were extinct. They only for a time period existed in a small area in Oklahoma. And the Osage tribe there had like the monopoly, man, for a long period of time on the best bows because it makes the best bow wood. But the reason why it had been isolated for a long time is because their main seed transporters were mastodons when the fruit would go through their systems. But over time, somehow they've adapted to self-seed themselves now.
So when I see them big giant, they fall out like I think at like spring, at like the end of spring they be everywhere.
Oh, they'll probably be falling about now.
Yeah, yeah.
They stick them out like for Halloween when they're supposed to wear it away, spiders or something.
Oh, okay. So them big
You can
giant
put some ketchup
softball
on it and
things.
it'll look like a brain on your
That's
porch
crazy.
for the Halloween kids, you know.
So next time I see them, I'm gonna use them for something. What can they be used for? You said this is way spiders. That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of the folklore of it, but I do know there's some clinical research where doctors have been using it as like a daily anti-cancer remedy where this guy, he just keeps one in his freezer and like every day just like scrapes out a little frozen spoonful of it. But I guess you don't want to eat a whole one of those at one time.
What's that? Like adrenochrome?
I'm not a clinical researcher on that, so like I can tell you the folklore and magic of it. It just makes sense to me. Like when you look at the patterns of nature and the gifts they're offering. Like I was talking about the sweet gum a minute ago, and the shape of them, like they're like these little green spike balls. And they kind of look like little images of the coronavirus, right? Well, if you go research them too, those little balls, you can collect them and make a tincture out of them. Just pour like 100 proof alcohol over them, let them sit for a couple weeks, and it'll be an antiviral that you can just like take droppers full. They're not exactly like scientifically sure why it works, but it works. Look for future updates from hopefully people that are getting funding to research stuff like that to the nth degree. Sweet gum.
Takes you out of that shit. Man! No, bro! What? of
I
this stuff.
appreciate
Ain't
you.
gonna block
I
it.
want to see like you researching like what lights do on different trees and studying their different species, like see what colors come off of them from the same lights and shit. There's a really cool thing. Look up the larch trees because the way they light and glow and energetically take place, like satellite images, they can like from far away tell where the larch trees are. So they have a certain glow, and there's so many cool lighting things that could be have fun to play with in the jungles around here. I look forward to doing that with you.
Oh, great.
Thanks for being here.
I appreciate it.
Major honor.
Do you do filming, documentary type, or commercials or videos?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, are you familiar with a business called Urban Vegans?
I'm not like, I heard of it, but I'm not really like detailed.
We may want to dialogue with you about getting some content.
Hey, look, we got community here.
And
We
it'll
got
be
things happening.
another
The ecosystem is building into things
plant-based
here.
alternative
This
for
way
you.
to
Because I
farm.
work
This
on
way.
that. I do all their raw vegan foods.
But, okay, sure. Yeah, we're going to sit down and we gonna get that together again.
Building bridges.
No, I have.
So how do we get in contact with you? Like, what's you got me on social media?
Yeah, I get like IG, it's ent.major, that's MAJOR. You go on Facebook, it's Branson Major, Major One, on there. Same thing on Twitter, major.ent. Yep. And also I produce too, so there's beats and stuff like that on YouTube too. And it's going Major Entertainment presents M1 the producer, so you go ahead and check that out too. That'd be on there.
I'd love to share that on a future Wake the Farm Up podcast too. Some of the beats, like, and work on that with you. I appreciate that.
Oh man, no problem, man. Well,
Thank you, man.
I'm ready.
Appreciate you.
Thank y'all for having me,
Appreciate
man.
it so
Appreciate
much.
it.
That was Major One.
One major.
So, ladies and gentlemen, are you guys having a good time? Do you think we got time for one more person to come up here tonight? Think we can do that?
One more.
I think we got time for at least one more up here. Somebody want to come up? Somebody want to come up?
What up, guys? Mic check. Can you hear me? Okay. Hey. So I really was thinking, I was coming to listen to the podcast. So, yeah. Here we are.
Listening to the podcast.
Yeah. But anyways, I am here, and I really wasn't prepared to talk about myself.
You don't have to even talk
And
about
I'm
yourself.
really
It
more
could be anything.
interested
It's very
in the
open.
things that's going on with you guys. I kind of feel like
There you go.
You want to
Turn the tables on.
you want to turn the tables here? I
No,
love
I
that.
mean, I'm just kind of really interested in like learning about all this. I mean, you just had a guest that said she eating the grass. Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, is it just your grass? Like, what is this grass?
Yeah, I mean, you want to think about like where dogs pee and
That part.
That part, yeah.
But not only that, it's just even really kind of, and even as she's saying these things, it's resonating with me. These things make sense
Makes
to me.
sense. True.
And it's just like, where did the disconnect happen, and why are we so disconnected from just knowing that there's food right in our backyard, you know. So I'm really interested in just all this information that you guys are sharing and have.
Oh, it is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Reconnection.
Yeah. And even when and it just doesn't even transcend to like the plants. It just comes to even the meat that we're eating and everything. So I just kind of feel like that's where we are. And I'm kind of excited to be a part of that like wave of information and knowledge where it's kind of like, okay, yeah, this is all. So yeah, keep giving us information and I'm like, dang, I wish I was homeschooled so I can go and just get the information and knowledge that you're sharing. And I did see on your Instagram page you're doing some type of retreat, right?
I have done many things. Just
what's happening
last
on the
weekend
10th?
I was in Tennessee.
Okay.
What are you talking about on the 10th?
The
8th through the 10th, something's
The
happening.
foraging, 8th and the 10th, something. You posted.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up, people. I'm doing
Okay, so it says that some type of foraging event is coming up October 8th.
If it's on the story format of Instagram, then it might. I didn't put that on there. That'd be somebody else. Or if it's on the permanent page post, that might have been
the actual farm?
Okay.
But I did an event in Tennessee last weekend. Let's see what this is. That's from a year ago.
Oh, UT out.
That's like a year old. I do
lots
of events like that. I get lots of groups together
We
and
were
different
planning to go.
forms.
We were like, okay, we need to find out some
You were ready to go to Tennessee.
I'm just like, let's find out some information about this. Like, that's what we were.
That's real
But what about this event you just did?
The event that we just did, we were down in Tennessee in Ashland City, which is near Nashville. There was a lot of musicians there, so the evening time was really sweet by fires. We were roasting chestnuts from trees that were like right there. There was all kinds of good food, and we hiked around, looked at plants, explored like why they were, talked about seasonal foods, and explored that to a depth for sure. Like most of the people that were there knew most of the plants, so we were able to really kind of go into whole ecosystem concepts and started out with an intro to permaculture because that was something the group there felt was really important, and did a lot of foraging, processed
I'm
things.
really kind of curious, like, just for a beginner, like, what would you recommend? Like, how would I just even, like, do I just go out, get grass, and just go? Or am I, like, how do I
With
begin?
the grass thing, there's a good,
that's so profound. Like, that's the profoundness of it, like.
so yeah,
it's
like
knowledge,
every
that's profound,
grass
right?
is edible in some form.
Okay.
So there's places where it's been such a lack of water that no grain was able to grow, but the crabgrass, which is one of our wild weed grasses that grows here, had a seed on it that people were able to gather and make into bread. So every grass is edible in some way. There's corn is a type of grass, bamboo is a type of grass. There's ways to eat both those things, right? So that's a really good thing to know as an international traveler. Like grass, it's everywhere and in some form. Khassa, do you remember wadging? We used to talk about wadging a lot when we were exploring these hills as raw food guys, and we would chew on grass. Do you remember chewing on grass? And it'd be like, it's a wheatgrass juicer basically, but you're using your best wheatgrass juice in your teeth, so you chew it up. And if you're in a certain seasonal flow of diet, you can swallow that fiber in small amounts, and it'll be good fiber going through your system.
That was just sucking on teeth, of course.
Yeah, a lot of times I just spit this stuff out.
And I like to consider myself like a green thumb. I'm really into plants, and I'm kind of like beginning with, taking my little, like I bought some mints from the store and I planted them. I'm like, look, my mint grew, and I'm just, so like, I'll take the little green onions, I'll put it in water, just keep growing it, And so I'm ready to kind of take all of that, the
Just
little
gotta
things I
multiply
do.
that by a million.
I mean, that's too much pressure for one. I'm just trying to take like that kind of. I just want to do those kind of things outside. You know what I mean? Start growing more things and learning more stuff about it.
So an early foraging experience for me was a kid playing soccer on fields around like Winton Woods and Finneytown area, and all the fields had that wild onion grass that comes up. Everybody calls it onion grass around here. It's actually a type of garlic, and you can eat as much of that as you want. It's a blood cleaner. It'll protect you from all kinds of things, and it's easy to know it's what it is by the smell of it. When you break it, it's very familiar.
I mean, I guess I'll be interested in having outside of being homeschooled.
You can look up indigenous plants around native plants around Ohio.
Okay.
And then just certain areas, like you said, the main areas that's around us right now. Just walk around.
And that's so crazy because you always just like in my mind, it's like you just don't eat those. Those are poisonous. So you're not supposed to eat those things. We go to the store and get things that end up poisonous.
I say this all the time, probably on this podcast in the past too, but cross-referencing everything. So one book might say a plant is poisonous, and be careful. And you go and look at another source, and it'll tell you about how it can be a specific medicine at a specific time during a certain ailment that you might be having that could save your life. And I mean, even things like poison ivy are used in homeopathic remedies for, TMJ, like the lockjaw kind of thing. You can take a homeopathic that's made of poison ivy. I'm not exactly sure how they make it, but you could even basically go eat a micro dose of poison ivy and it would be a medicine. And I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to everybody if you're super allergic. I know people that eat like a whole entire leaf of poison ivy every spring when they're first coming out.
It's
They
because
just
you had
eat the
to
whole
do
leaf.
TikTok thing.
TikTok, you want to get into TikTok too?
TikTok made me.
This is why like we need blood cleaning herbs too, because like talk about ticks, their blood sucking coming everywhere, and like they're coming with all these new diseases, and there's just a whole nother window for them to like open up a doorway of fear of like stay out of the wild.
Yes, get rid of
ticks.
So what made you get into this type of?
I was born with sickle cell anemia, so my childhood was very horrific on narcotics from a baby. So just that whole trauma when I was about 18, 19, I got pulled into like some ideas about adopting a plant-based diet. So I went from vegetarian to vegan to living raw foods, all the different paradigms. Basically, I've tried everything, but that was around the time I met Andy. I was more inclined to a raw vegan diet. It was running a few juice bar modules at that time. So
I think honey was still included with vegans for a period of time.
I mean, I don't like. I mean, we use the word vegan a lot, but I mean, I think you should prescribe to your balance. You know what I'm saying? Within the whole spectrum of plants and honey and other things.
What do you mean now? What do you mean?
Like instinctually, what you feel called to eat. Like, I mean, I knew a guy out in Athens, Ohio, that would eat like beer cans. I thought it was crazy, but it's like it's cool. I'll let the dude eat a beer can if he thinks he can, and he would do it repetitively. So I mean, obviously, he was able to pass it.
Like what I mean, if it could benefit you and not kill you versus what's already been killing you, then you should use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause we in this thing to heal ourselves, not really prescribe to like a concept or what I'm saying, a philosophy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta save your life. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are still dying because they're trying to prescribe to it like a philosophy. You feel what I'm saying? Not saying that don't
Or an app
prescribe
on
to
their
that.
phone that tells them what they should eat that day.
Yeah.
No, I'll say too, like sometimes the other day I really needed a steak.
You needed a what?
A steak.
A steak.
I wanted to eat a steak.
Yeah, and it probably would have made you feel better.
And it did. It made me feel better because my body growing up too, my dad would talk about this. They used to not eat as much in the same way the meat that they ate. So it's like, I guess, depending upon your body.
Exactly.
It's like, and I can't drink liquor. Not a drop, man. Literally cannot drink liquor. I'll start blowing up. But yeah, each people's bodies are different. So people are trying to find answers with all these new, like you were talking about with the allergies. They're trying to find answers for their body.
Exactly.
So those answers got to be pure in some way. Like you want to know where, if you feel that you do need to eat meat, okay, you want to know where that meat came from. If you feel,
You want to meet the
and
meat.
you do want to know these plants.
You want to
and
meet
all
the
this
meat. You know, it's
stuff
like in that
For
one.
example, sometimes when I feel dehydrated, I know it's not for water. I need fruits and other things that's gonna hydrate my body differently. So I get that. I think it's just a matter of listening to your body and doing with your body. What
And
you
it
feel
takes
like you
time.
need.
You know what I mean? It takes time for you to identify what is what.
Right. So that's so. Okay, that's my 2 minutes, huh?
That was
That's
great.
your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Now we
Now
get
let
to
me
start.
introduce myself.
Now we get to ask you a bunch of crazy questions.
Well,
Right?
I don't know if I introduced myself. So my name is Patrice.
Okay.
I'm a multimedia producer, which basically means I create anything from print, web to television. I'm a creative, I'm a designer, but I'm a analyzer and everything too. So I'm a little bit of all of that. I do events here in the city, do graphics, logos, a little bit of everything. So it's just like do a lot of production work with B as well, which is kind of how I ended up in this wave of an amazing experience.
It's a lot of, you get to work with a lot of different arts, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me.
Really neat.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
So
but I think
what's
I need to, you know, we definitely need to collaborate, you know, to get all that conglomerate of this word sound out to the world
for sure.
through media.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that
Thank you for being here and trying this experiment with us and being excited about what we can share on the
Yeah, and
table,
thanks for sharing
literally.
your beginning of your journey. Like, that's what's up.
Yeah. And I think it's just kind of just confirmation too. So
Yep.
thanks for allowing me to be in a space and just sharing y'all knowledge because that's dope. So thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah!
It's been so fun.
It's so farming fun!
What the fuck? Yeah, we look forward to doing more of these where we get people together and we just talk and share what's up our sleeves. So don't believe what you see. When you got tricks up your own sleeve, you might find a rabbit in your hat. But if you gotta have it, that's where you're at. See, over and over until it breaks. I'm addicted to really big earthquakes. Stay tuned, enjoy season 2 here. We look forward to the next adventures. Thank you all. Seriously, that was absolutely fun. Thanks for experimenting with that. Get full on into it. Everybody was just like here, present right now. Bam! Whoa! That's Wake the Farm Up, Season 2, Episode 1, ladies and gentlemen and everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for joining us. I hope the audio experience was somewhat close to the way that the actual experience was, and I hope that you can come and make it to some of the actual experience and come and be present and join us for a conversation. Get up on stage here with us on a mic. Come join this amazing thing. Tune in. We'll be seeing you. Wake the farm up. Yeah, we'll do it again, and it's only gonna get better. We're growing.
So what are those?
These are persimmons. persimmons, wild American persimmons.
And what is that? Is that a fruit?
Yeah, it's a native tree fruit.
And you just
And
eat
this
the
is
whole thing?
This is not the seeds.
You spit out the seeds and
Yeah,
then.
put them there, and then we can plant them later.
And see, this is the thing though.
And then have my saliva juice on. Can I have some?
Yeah, so you don't put them on. Yeah.
And this is the thing though. It's so much. This is the thing I don't like though. There's so many native fruits and vegetables here. Like we can go in our grocery stores and don't see none of this shit in the
I
store.
know. I was checking out your Instagram page. It's pretty dope.
Yeah. Like you don't see none of this shit.
A lot of people would never even think.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. That's why I'm like, I want to go to that
Just to
thing.
say, okay, what are all these things? What are the cultures? What are these cultures?
I forgot.
What are some of the most obscure things?
Oh.
that you
We don't like that. No, we
You
ain't.
can take that one out.
Yeah, you can.